In a previous video I shared with you a little about God's field of dreams, but I felt it important now in this 10-minute recording to share with you some background information. You and I are aware that Pope John Paul II, prior to his death, made a firm commitment to interfaith. On 3 separate occasions he went to Assisi, having invited all the religious leaders to come together, to pray together, to forgive one another for historical differences. And Assisi, although known as a place of unity and peace, was renewed as the seedbed in this modern time for interfaith. Sadly, after his death, his successor, Pope Benedict, removed the papal seal given to Assisi as a centre of interfaith. And however sad that is, he confined the Franciscans to the jurisdiction of 2 bishops, and yet were aware from a wonderful document produced by the bishops of England and Wales for the forthcoming visit of Pope Benedict in 2010 to the United Kingdom. It talks about his desire to improve interfaith relations. Well, my heart is saying I believe him when he restores Assisi to its rightful title, honouring the footsteps of Francis as a peacemaker. In July 2006, bearing in mind that Assisi had more or less collapsed as a centre of interfaith, St. Francis spoke to 12 of our therapists that I was training in Manchester, embracing the Christ Magdalena energy, and something magnanimous happened. He gave them a mandate to find a place and restore God's people for them to live together in peace. So we set up the Teo community of St. Francis, and we really gave it our total commitment. And then I invited a friend who was quite knowledgeable in setting up organisations, but she spoke to our trustees at a meeting in July 2007, 12 months on, and said that she was not happy with the name Francis because it conjured up a poverty mindset. Well, of course, they took a vote, and Sister Teresa and I were outvoted. We were devastated, and in our despair we just sought refuge in prayer, but we felt everything had come apart, that we were letting Francis down. But then in 2008, in April, I was guided to the tomb of Assisi, where I know in here Jesus and Francis spoke to my heart, to set up a community for ordinary men and women from different faiths to come together in love and live a simple monastic life. From their own home, their monastery without walls, but come here and share their love of God without talking about God, not to convert each other to a particular religion, but to honour one's belief, whether they're Buddhist, Jew, Hindu, Sikh, Christian, Baha'in, to respect their belief, to embrace that belief through understanding and wanting to celebrate their love of their God, one faith. And then we began in earnest to consolidate the vision by living that simple life. Here we agreed that when I took my vows 3 years ago, in 2007, that the name would change from Chapel Gap to the Monastery of St. Francis. Yes, it doesn't look your conventional monastery to most Catholics, because a home was converted into a working house, a place of refuge for the stragglers, the confused, the broken-hearted, and those who have been wounded by the Christian Church. And yet I have come across so many beautiful people who love God, but who began losing their faith in God by how they were maltreated, ill-treated by members of within their church. ordained ministers. So I'm not here to condemn anyone. I'm here to say that we were given a mandate, simple, clear, to the point. Restore God's people. Unite them in faith. Bring them together. Show Franciscan hospitality, not Catholicism, and not convert. And today, my heart is guided to put to you a simple request. Will you, as members of your faith, take on board the Spirit of God speaking to your heart to heal the woundedness and the differences that factions within specific religions have caused? Because I know within the Christian community there are so many factions and fundamentalist groups that they're stifling the Spirit of God. We have it in the Church of England now, where women who have a rightful place before God are being denied the opportunity to be ordained. And I know that that's going to upset my brothers and sisters in the Catholic Church. But I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to obey what God is saying to my heart. And I take the vision of Francis very seriously. And we as lay monastics have consecrated our lives, not to win your approval, but to be the kernel that God has asked us to be, to pray for interfaith dialogue, to come together and ignore the rhetoric, get away from the boardroom and come together in a field of dreams for God. And that field of dreams has many beautiful visions associated with it. One is the Abbey of St. Francis of Peace and Compassion, where men and women of different faiths will live in ecopods, but come together 3 times a day like the Essenes did, and glorify the one God, one faith, one truth. And surrounding that there will be an animal sanctuary for abandoned sick animals, a pet cemetery, a market garden where we will grow all our own stuff organically, an abbey shop where the members of the community and their friends and those who wish to live alongside us, not as monastics, but share their creativity, and we sell that and the proceeds go to the support of the vision. What a vision! It's God's vision. It's not Brother Sean's vision. And there's been times when I've wanted to throw my hands in and say I've had enough, because the rejection has been so great. But reminded by Jesus, my teacher, the one I'm in service to, as a Christian, I have been asked not to convert, but to hold the interfaith together as one family, through prayer, through living a simple life and offering my life. And I'm not wanting you to take out the violin and think, oh, he's marvelous, because I'm not. I'm human. But I'm offering my availability and my vulnerability to God for interfaith, because that is the way forward. We've to stop building individual churches and temples. We've to come together as one family. And we've to learn to love one another in God's name. And that's something we're not doing, and we haven't done. Oh yes, we've made great strides in being politically correct, but there's still no evidence in the interfaith community where men and women are living a simple monastic life together. In the Christian church we have the Tese community, where men are living the monastic life, founded by Brother Roger, a Lutheran pastor, where 5 of his friends established the Teo community from their apartment in the Louvain. But the church rejected him at the Second Vatican Council. They didn't want to know. But thank God the Spirit of God is a spirit of change. That's all changed now. And the Tese community are a beautiful community who touch many lives to come back to God. Why can't we, within the Teo community of St. Francis, of Interfaith Franciscans, we are offering you the opportunity to use us as custodians for a special place that we look to you to build and provide as members of the whole interfaith family that John Paul gave his heart to at Assisi. Let not his efforts be in vain, and I don't say that as a Christian because he's a Christian. We had the Dalai Lama who gave and who surrendered his heart in service to all mankind.